Camp Rock is straight out of the second golden age of Disney Channel original movies, and it's one of my favorite films to watch ever. It has the comedic timing of a poorly attended school play, a catchy Kids Bop-esque style musical score, plus lots of singers trying to act, actors trying to dance, and dancers tip-tapping on their laptop to make sick beats. Check me out! Wow, she's really good. It's time to follow Mitchie Torres for the best summer of her life and the cringiest 90 minutes of ours, so stay tuned for a Disney Camp Rock clip breakdown, baby. Hey! Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another clip breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite TV movies to figure out why are these images displayed in this way with the people saying the things that they're saying. And oh girl, Camp Rock is no exception. It's almost like every single scene has something worth talking about because it's either completely bizarre, poorly executed, or just 100% hilarious. And I've loved this movie ever since it came out back in 2008, and I'm gonna tell you all about that. But first, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. You can also check out different merchandise options, like this aloe plant phone case. Isn't that cute? Look, it matches. There will be links for that in the description below, but otherwise, let's just get into it. This is not a plot that's super convoluted, which I appreciate, because all you need to know before we get into it is that Camp Rock is about a shy young girl named Mitchie Torres learning to step out of the shadows and into the spotlight while she's at a prestigious musical performing arts camp. Camp Rock was released well after High School Musical, but you can tell Disney Channel really wanted another hit franchise on their hands. You can also tell that the producers of Camp Rock had seen another movie that came out a few years earlier called Camp, which follows a bunch of quirky teenagers at a musical art summer camp. And there are certain moments and devices taken from that movie that were just copy and pasted into this one. And that's a much lesser known film, so I'm excited to make those comparisons and see if you guys agree that there was some shady, shifty stealing going on in these parts, mama. But for now, let's just meet Mitchie Torres on her final day of school. Nothing defines a TV movie for me quite like hair and makeup that is too perfect in every scene. Just ask Mitchie, who gets out of bed with her lip gloss fresh done. What they don't show you is that her pillowcase is crusted with days-old lip smackers. We already know that Mitchie is a musical force to be reckoned with because she's trying on clothes and playing guitar in her room, and she really wants to go to Camp Rock, but her mom can't afford it because her catering business is taking off and it's too expensive. That leaves Mitchie feeling really disappointed, and she's also annoyed with Shane Gray, a bad boy musical pop star who's featured in the news for having some sort of vague negative behavior. They don't really say what he does. They're like, his diva-like behavior means the summer tour is canceled. What is he doing? Eating too many pixie sticks before bedtime? We'll never know. At school, we meet Sierra, Mitchie's best friend, who we don't see for the rest of the movie, so she's really important to her.
Hey Sierra, let me be the first to say Jinjaji Mitchie. It means happy summer Mitchie. Guess who got an A+ in AP Mandarin?
Remember that stupid line because it comes up later. After a long day at school and working at an unseen restaurant called Burger Barn, we get some exciting news from Mitchie's mom. Finally.
You're going to Camp Rock. Well, actually, we're going. Connie's Catering is going camping. Business is slow in the summer. This is a steady job, and you get to go to camp at a discounted rate.
I'm already obsessed with this movie because it doesn't make any sense right off the bat. Just this morning, Connie was telling us that her catering business was taking off so much that she couldn't afford to bring Mitchie to camp. How come in the 8 hours since Mitchie's been at school, she managed to get a contract going with Camp Rock to be their food provider for the whole summer? Also, what kind of camp are they running over here that they weren't figuring out how to feed these kids until a couple weeks before camp started? This is also just a little area where I think they could have used some rewriting. Instead of Mitchie being sad about not being able to go and then after school suddenly being told she can go for a miraculous reason, I wish that they had given us a little more to establish Mitchie's shy nature at the beginning of the summer. And they could also establish that Camp Rock is a really prestigious, hard to get into camp where only the most talented kids go. For example, maybe you have to send in an audition tape to get into Camp Rock to prove prove that you're like a star. And Midgie is too shy. Midgie is like, no, I want to go to Camp Rock, but I can't because, and like makes the excuse about not being able to afford it. But there's like a scholarship or something for like the people who show the most promise. And even though she doesn't believe in herself, maybe her friend Sierra, who we see for 2 seconds, or one of her parents secretly send in a tape of her performing in her room or something like that. And she gets this letter that's like, you're going to Camp Rock. But as it is, Connie just kind of miraculously gets this job working at the camp. That to me is not a super solid conflict or resolution. Also, I don't know about catering jobs being slow in the summer. I feel like there's a lot of parties and holidays in the summer that people would want catered. But who am I to argue with Connie's catering? She's the boss here who later serves these kids some meals that you would think were going to prisoners. We arrive at Camp Rock and we get just a taste of how talented these kids are. All of them are capable of moving and walking in beat. Also, we have one drummer who loves to tip-tap on everything he sees, and that's a through line throughout the entire film. Very bold of Camp Rock to call itself a movie musical when the background score for most scenes sounds like the Law & Order theme song. They're like, okay kid, it's time to start breakdancing. Midgie bumps into Tess Taylor, who gives her a little bit of attitude, and we find out why.
It's her mom's TJ Tyler.
The TJ Tyler? She's got like 1 trillion Grammys.
1,000,000,001, I think. Hi, I'm Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin. That was a stupid joke, and I need you to go jump in that lake now. Thanks. As you see, Midgie meets Caitlin, who is a little bit outside of everything. She's like, ugh, those popular kids, they can eat shit. And she just said, Tess Taylor is the daughter of a famous pop star. And as for Caitlin, she's a really promising musical talent as well, but not someone singing into the mic, but making the beats behind the keyboard.
Camper today, top-selling music producer tomorrow. Check me out. Cool.
Meanwhile, on your computer, you've just opened 3 new tabs and quit 6 different programs. The best part is Allison Stoner, who plays Caitlin, is an amazing dancer. She was famous from a young age, appearing in Missy Elliott videos. So I don't know why they decided to make her a music producer in this and not like a dancer. And the kids they have as dancers are all like, ooh. Ooh. Like they had a real hip-hop dancer here and the other kids are doing straight up miming. My favorite is this beginning period of Camp Rock because they try so hard to establish that this is a fun, cool, creative environment where everyone is super talented, but they fail so hard on every try. The whole thing comes off like a fever dream. Like when these 2 rambunctious kids basically storm the stage and assault this camp counselor.
Hey, we plan to be the winners on stage at Final Jam. Put your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Yeah.
I have no idea what they said. Gabba-dooba-dee-ba-dee to Camp Rock a Final Jam, put your hands up. And I just need to point out the white nonsense that's happening in the crowd when they tell people to put their hands up. Ooh. Also, I can't help but point out in this little cutaway, we clearly see some lighting equipment there. That's like the barn door to the light that's giving them that golden backlight that's supposed to look like a sunset. Also, that little girl hiding back there, it looks devious. She's like, I'm gonna pee in all the cereal tomorrow. Wait till we get to the music, guys. I'm so excited. But the surprises keep coming because at Camp Rock this year, they're not just having regular old people counselors, okay? It's not just your parents in a vest. We also have some special guests.
Celebrity instructor.
I don't want to waste my summer at some camp. I'm Shane Gray, for crying out loud.
Hey man, we used to love this place. 3 years ago, we were campers.
Yeah, man, this is where Connect 3 connected.
Hold on, I'm just gonna start a change.org petition to have Kevin Jonas removed from this film. Will you sign it? This was one of the movies that helped launch the Jonas Brothers' career into the stratosphere. I'm talking about music career, however, because their acting in this it's certainly a feature in the whole menagerie. I feel like this very first scene alone where we first hear them interacting actually wraps up what kind of chemistry they bring to the film throughout the movie. It's like poorly timed, bad character development. Like each of these people are supposed to be like distinct guys, right? Like we have Kevin, who's supposed to be like the ditzy comedic relief in this trio. We have Nick Jonas, who's supposed to be like the straight man who's sort of like, whatever dude, you're out of touch with your roots. And then we have Joe Jonas, who plays Shane Gray, who's the bad boy who needs some humble pie. They're also weirdly not supposed to be brothers, I don't think, in this movie. They're supposed to just be bandmates who met at Camp Rock 3 years ago. So I guess that's good because it means that those awful hairstyles are not congenital. The band is telling Shane that he needs to be the guest celebrity counselor at Camp Rock in order to get back to his roots before they go back on tour in the summer. And Shane, who's a major diva, is not having it, because where is he gonna straighten his hair if he's living by a lake? Is he supposed to use fish to manicure his toes?
It's been 3 hours. I need hair product.
I guess it's time to embrace the natural look.
Oh, have fun.
That's the most poorly edited phone conversation I've ever seen on screen ever. When Nick says it's time to embrace the natural look, that's supposed to be a punchline. So why did we put establishing shots in between what Joe said and what Nick responded with? For some reason, Shane Gray is sulking around the whole campground like Bigfoot in the trees, and Mitchie, who just helped get set up for dinner, she takes a break to sit down at a piano and play some songs, and this is the favorite part for me. Okay, Demi Lovato, there's a lot you can say about Demi Lovato, I'm sure, but all I know is that she is such a raw talent, and in this movie, there are moments where it just comes through that you're like, no wonder they put her in this starring role. I'm just like, yes.
This is real, this is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now.
Vocals come through. I love her. And that song is so good. She's gonna sing more of it later, and I'm gonna help her. This is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. That's my favorite song. So Shane hears Demi singing, but does not see her. And when I say Demi, I mean Mitchie. A Disney Channel original movie will start, and the girl will be like, I'm just a normal 14-year-old girl named Brinka. It's like, what? Okay. She must have Swedish parents? In this next scene, Caitlin introduces us to a new character named Lola, who must not survive the school year because she's not in the second Camp Rock movie. Either way, she does not introduce herself well.
Hey, Mitchie, this is Lola Mitchie. So, is this your first year? Yeah.
I think Camp Rock features a lot of moments that seemed like they would work when it was written on the page in the script, but then it wasn't directed properly to come through. Oh, hey, this is Mitchie. Is this your first year? It feels really abrupt and sort of aggressive that she would jump into the conversation that quickly after meeting somebody. I think it would have been more natural if they had blocked it so that when the introductions were happening, there was like a nonverbal wave to one another, or they shake hands or something. That way there's still a greeting. You don't have to add any additional dialogue, but it doesn't feel as stilted when someone just walks into the conversation like that. I just think that's a really subtle part of filmmaking that often gets lost. When you're reading a script, you kind of can see how it's gonna work, but if the director doesn't translate that to screen with the actor's direction, then it can feel really awkward like that. But don't worry about Lola, okay? She's got all of the skills to carry this whole scene on her own. And we get one of the first full-length musical numbers in the show, which features a cool group of awesome dancers. Tag yourself, I'm the nervous girl in yellow.
Everyone talks about what they think they need. They're making up a list of things, 1, 2, 3.
I hope no one realizes that I didn't practice my shoulder bounces. All of the costuming in this show is just, mwah, I love it. Like, that girl has the biggest scarf around her neck, the hoop earrings, I love them. The choreography is a little bit last minute, I think. Like, there are some numbers where it seems like they had a real choreographer, but in this case, everyone is just like, and then I walk and sit down. I will also say that in the sequel, Camp Rock 2, we get much more, I would say, production value in our musical dance numbers. It feels a lot more like what you would see on stage, I guess. One thing that sort of doesn't make sense throughout Camp Rock is everyone's always referring to who other characters' famous parents are. I get why they're doing it because it becomes part of Mitchie's story going forward, but at a certain point it doesn't really make sense anymore.
Wow, she's amazing. Yeah, she should be. Her mom's on Broadway.
I'm sorry, but where did we get the idea that stage presence was passed down like a genetic disease? In order to appear cool to the popular girls like Tess and her friends, Mitchie kind of spins this yarn about how her mother is the president of Hot Tunes TV China, which is the MTV-like TV channel that we saw giving us the news about Connect 3 at the beginning of the movie. I didn't even know that I knew their band name was Connect 3. That just was buried in my subconscious. Wow, I really know my stuff when it comes to Camp Rockin'. This is obviously a big lie to keep up because now Mitchie has to pretend like her mom is not the one serving us our noodles every morning. You know when you eat noodles in the morning? So Mitchie is excited to move into the popular girls cabin and lets her mom know the tea.
But I met some girls and they want me to move into their cabin.
Well, does one of them have a hairbrush for you? Because we're looking a little ratty up there, honey, right now. Just to be clear, I'm not making fun of Demi Lovato for having unbrushed hair in this scene. I'm making fun of the production because there should have been someone from hair and makeup on monitor to notice this. I guess it's just hard to relate since my hair always looks so perfect. Next, we're in the popular girl's cabin, and they're all kind of judging Mitchie's belongings. And it took me legit 10 years of viewing this movie before I finally caught on to this callback from an earlier scene.
Yeah, well, it came from China. A little boutique called Jinjiaji.
Wow, what does that mean?
Happy summer.
Probably because it was such a throwaway line with Sierra at the beginning saying, "Happy summer, Mitchie," that I never realized Mitchie was co-opting that and using it as the made-up boutique that she shops at in China. That might have something to do with my poor attention span, but moreover, I think it's just part of this ongoing problem that Camp Rock has with things that look good on the page of the script but aren't translated well to the film. For me, I think this would have landed a little better if they had made Sierra's line at the beginning just a little bit bigger. Like, instead of just being like, "Jiang Jing Junks, Mitchie,"
Jinjaji Mitchie.
they could have really pushed her and made the character more memorable. Like, what if she didn't know that Mitchie's parents said she couldn't go to Camp Rock? So she comes up and she's like, "Jiao Jing Junks, Mitchie," and she has like a banner with rock and roll guitars on it. And then Mitchie has to be like, "They said I can't go." And then she's like, "Oh no," and wraps up the banner. That would have been like more memorable so that I can remember why she's recalling these Chinese words. She was in that one scene. I wish there was a way they could have brought Sierra back later, which there is. They could have brought her to the final jam. They could have had her visit on Friends Day. I don't know. But if you're gonna have Sierra in the movie, I'm gonna need to see Sierra in the movie. Let me see 1-2 step back into the film, Sierra. Mitchie has to sneak out early from her cabin in order to help her mother in the kitchen. This kicks off the ongoing hilarity of Mitchie trying to keep her double life a secret from the popular girls and the other kids at camp.
Mitchie? You're dreaming. You're a rock princess. Okay, I rock.
What is a rock princess? Now you're just making stuff up, Mitchie. Camp Rock does that a lot. They'll just add the word rock and roll or music star to everything. All right, everybody, it's time for rock and roll pizza night. Everybody gather around for the tambourine fire time. Connor over there has a rhythm and bruised broken leg and needs to go to the hospital. Also, I don't buy this thing where you're influencing that girl's dreams. Like, that girl's head is fully elevated and her eyes are open. She is awake.
Okay, I rock.
That's not something people talk about in sleep talking mode, okay? I know how sleep works. I do it every night. Mitchie continues to be creative when it comes to avoiding suspicion from her new friends.
What happened to you this morning? Early riser? Yum, toast.
You might laugh, but holding food in your mouth for an awkwardly long period of time is actually a great way to avoid unwanted questions. Nick, we notice you only play with the girls at recess. What's that about? Oh, look, toast! I just love the set decoration on Camp Rock because they had basically zero budget and had to make everything musically themed somehow. You'll notice back there a drum filled with fruit. I just love picturing Mitchie's mom, Connie, like filling up a drum with fruit and being like, this is what they pay the big bucks for at Camp Rock. Brown is the name of the person who runs Camp Rock, and he's weirdly British even though he's the uncle of Shane, who is not British. I don't know where the accent might come from. You tell me. Either way, he's giving Shane the tough love he needs to become involved as a camp counselor. And this is literally a plot point taken from the movie Camp that I had mentioned earlier, where they have a celebrity guy come join as a summer counselor who doesn't want to be there. He's actually like a grumpy old alcoholic, but he's a famous Broadway music director. So all the kids are sort of clamoring to be in his classes and get attention from him. And they really wanted to set that up in Camp Rock as well with Shane Gray, but also make him a love interest to Mitchie. That's not the first and only similarity we'll see between the two movies. You guys have to check out Camp. Oh my god. If I love Camp Rock ironically, I love Camp unironically. The music, the dancing is so good. You have Anna Kendrick in there. You have really amazing singers, amazing choreography, and some great musical theater. So check out Camp and tell me you don't see that Camp Rock was trying to copy the magic of that movie, but like in a Disney way. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we have Allison Stoner, who is an amazing, acclaimed dancer, and this is what they give her to do in Camp Rock. Hi, my name's Caitlin,
and I'm your freestyle dance teacher.
That's her right now. However, this is not a dancing class, Caitlin, so sit your ass down. This is a singing class, and Brown has picked Mitchie to show everyone what she's got. This feels like that moment in Raise Your Voice, starring Hilary Duff, where Hilary's made to sing in front of the whole class, and they're all impressed by her being like, Only in this case, again, we have Demi Lovato giving a sick on-set performance. This feels like it's actually the live vocals that they recorded on set, and I love that for this.
Who will I be? It's up to me. All the never-ending possibilities.
This little part right here where Demi is singing and the whole class is shocked is actually, I think, like a kernel of the movie that they should have tried to expand upon as much as possible. The idea of kids singing live vocals on set is very intriguing, especially when you have talented singers like Demi Lovato. I wish that they had just cast the whole movie with really talented child performers who had Broadway experience, just like they did in Camp, but also like they later did in the Nickelodeon show Victorious. Ariana Grande was in the Broadway musical 13. The kid who plays Andre was Simba in The Lion King, so they all had really strong stage experience. And in Camp Rock, they were like, well, we'll cast that white girl and then have some adult woman dub over her singing voice. Okay, that's a secondary choice you can go with. Fun. Tess Taylor is such a jealous diva in this. She's basically convincing Mitchie that she doesn't want to sing in the final jam alone, so Mitchie decides to sing backup for Tess instead. If I were Mitchie, I would have been like, listen, I think you're cool and all. I love how all of your tops have a built-in shelf bra, but I've heard you singing, and I've heard me singing, and we're not on the same level, sweetie. No one's feelings would get hurt. Well. Mitchie's having all of these fun summer adventures. Meanwhile, Connie is effortlessly feeding like 500 kids on her own.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay, honey. The last batch of cookies is in the oven. You can start cleaning up.
Connie is her own pastry chef, assistant chef, recipe maker, candlestick baker. She does it all. Meanwhile, I couldn't even cook this toast for a joke. Ooh, now there's crumbs everywhere. I'm gonna throw this out. What will I be? I have to pee, and everyone's in love with me. That's that song. Shane Gray comes into the kitchen and he's on one because the food has not been up to his standards. But Mitchie's trying to hide the fact that she works in the kitchen, so somehow she throws flour in her face as though that's supposed to disguise her. And even though Mitchie is a little shy when it comes to using her voice for singing, I love to see that she's not shy when it comes to telling off male Karens who come up in her kitchen causing no good.
Can I just talk to whoever's in charge?
Excuse me?
What?
Well, you're kind of being a jerk.
Yeah, and you better tell him, Mitchie. He has no right to talk to you that way just because you have 3 pounds of flour hanging on your eyelashes. She completely tells off Shane and he's like, no, I am gonna leave. It's epic. And Shane continues to be thrust into this world of music and learning when he's forced to teach a hip-hop class. And although you might be nervous by the fact that they have a box of communal hats that they have to put on their heads, hello headlights, you'll feel much more comfortable knowing that Shane is a hip-hop dance master. I feel like if it weren't for that background music, all we would be hearing is the strain of that fabric in his skinny jeans trying to hold it all together. Those are not good dance clothes, Kevin. His name's not Kevin, it's Joe, right? Yeah, it's actually Shane, okay? I know my stuff. Hey, whatever gets the kids moving and grooving, and he really does that. Look at where they start to get into the move and they're learning from him and they're getting the hang of it.
Come on, everyone, let's go. Start the party. Come on, live it up.
Watching them all dance in those trucker hats, it literally makes me sick. They're like, woo, learning all the sickest moves at Camp Rock. Start the party. Yeah, yeah, sing it loud. Do-do-do-do-do, bow. There have been other movies we've covered on this channel where I've called out bad ADR, which stands for automatic dialogue recording. That's when they have to bring in the actor after shooting to re-record some of their lines in a studio. We get that here with Tess, whose voice you can almost hear reverberating off the recording studio's walls.
Talk about dancing to the beat of a different drum. Talk about dancing to the beat of a different drum.
One of the drummers fell during the dance because, hey, we can't be drummers and dancers at Camp Rock. We all have one specialty. But Shane shows that he really does kind of care for the musical learnings of these children.
You gonna get on the drums? Man, you're a drummer, dude. The drummer controls the beat. The rhythm is in your hands.
Ew. You're a drummer, dude. The drummer controls the beat. Rhythm's in your hands. Can we get an on-set acting coach for the Jonas Brothers? Thanks, everybody.
You're a drummer, dude.
If anyone ever said that to me, I would quit music and become a lawyer and be like, I had a bad experience. I don't want to harp too much on the Jonas Brothers acting in this movie, but I also do want to do that. So in this scene, we get a lot of face acting from our friend Shane.
Yeah, I was thinking the group can change up our sound. Do some different stuff.
I feel like I just saw every lobe of his brain firing off at once. At the campfire jam, we get more of that wacky camp counselor with the red hair, played by Julie Brown. She sets up that this campfire jam is all about freedom of expression, but I can't get over the fact that there's clearly a huge shadow over the first half of her face, and it's really distracting.
The campfire jam is about expression. Be who you really want to be. Hit it!
Hit it! I don't know why she does that. She goes like, in, out, up, hit it. In, out, up, hit it! Why? Why did they tell her to do that? What does it do? What does it add to this? What is it supposed to mean? Is she flagging down some planes? Either way, the first performance out of the gate is Tess Thompson giving us the iconic Too Cool For You, which she makes Mitchie be in the background for. I don't know what vocalist is performing this, but it's certainly not Tess herself, the actress. Couple things that I love about this performance. I love how Tess looks like a shimmering string bean in that outfit. And when she says emotional, she gives herself a mustache for some reason. It just through and through a great performance if you love bad performances. When Mitchie and Shane get their first one-on-one time, he starts to see that she's not like other girls, which can be seen exclusively through his facial expressions in this scene, which I cut down.
I only played the music that the label thinks will sell. That's it.
Someone once told him acting is all about reacting. And he was like, got it. Acting is all about reacting in a crazy, unusual way. No, I didn't say that last part. Okay, well, you're doing it. Next, the conflict steps up even higher between Tess and Caitlin with this dramatic scene that I can't believe they would even waste Connie's delicious cooking like this.
Okay, that was on purpose. Anything makes that outfit look better. Okay. Nice, Caitlin. Stop! Oh, you guys stop!
Dry spaghetti noodles with a bowl of vegetables? Connie, why? What are you doing to these kids? But of course, this was for a practical reason. If you're doing a food fight, it's really difficult to reset costumes and reset hair and makeup if everyone's gonna get messy. Not an issue if you're just plain noodles for dinner, baby girl. To just throw dry spaghetti around and call it a food fight is very low effort for me, especially when I think back to movies like Max Keeble's Big Move, which featured 3 different food fights, I think, or at least one big one. There was a period in the early thousands where it was all about staging a food fight on camera, and it made me want to be in a food fight so bad. But if I'm gonna have a food fight, we need tarps over the camera, we need stunt kids in the background, I need waterproof mascara, none of this wet noodles, like, come on. Mitchie sort of fails to stick up for Caitlin when they're getting in trouble, so Caitlin's mad at Mitchie now. But that's okay, because Mitchie has her blossoming love with Shane Gray and his perfectly straightened hair. And I'm just sitting here like I wish they would make a choice with the musical direction of this soundtrack.
Could it be you're not that far? You're the voice I hear inside my head.
Now, Shane's character in this scene is just playing the guitar lakeside. I don't know where his backup vocals are supposed to be coming from, and I wish that the movie could just commit to giving me studio recordings of these songs and I can suspend my disbelief, or giving me those raw a cappella vocals like Demi did earlier in 2 scenes. By the way, diegetic music is when music is playing in a movie that the characters can also hear. So in this case, Shane's singing and the guitar would be diegetic, but his backup vocals would be non-diegetic because theoretically no one should be able to hear that in the scene. That's just for us to not have to hear his bad vocal performance alone, I guess. Maybe the vocals just sounded too weak on their own or too thin and they just needed to bring that studio part back in. Either way, I don't like that. Make a choice. Because of the food fight, Caitlin is sent to help work in the kitchen, and that's a big problem for Demi because she's still trying to hide the fact that she works there and is Connie's daughter. But of course she can't keep the secret for long, and there's some physical comedy where she gets tortilla chips, get this, in her hair. And Caitlin's reaction comes straight out of the book of things 13-year-olds would never say.
You're the cook's daughter. Oh, this is rich. But apparently you're not.
Again, a line that probably felt more clever when you were reading it on the page. That night, there's a slumber party in one of the cabins where everyone gets to perform a little bit, and we get to see Caitlin really show her stuff. We learn that she's not just an incredible music producer, but she's also capable of doing things like this. Check it out.
She's
was really good.
What in the Super Mario Brothers is good about that, honey? It sounds like a bumblebee got stuck inside a bell jar. But despite this excellent music production, Tess just cannot take the jealousy. She's over there dressed like Eartha Kitt, and she decides she needs to make a move.
There's a snake!
It's just the power cord to the sound system, Tess.
Somehow that interruption completely disrupts Caitlin's performance to the point where she can't go back on stage, but whatever. And even though there's a little kerfuffle here, it's exciting to see Mitchie really stand up for her friend for the first time.
She said, whatever, major loser. Oh, wow, Tess. Whatever, major loser? That is so last year. I mean, everyone knows that. Oh, well, I guess not everyone.
Oh, she got you, Tess. Final jam that up your ass. How about that, baby girl? The final jam is fast approaching, however, but Mitchie and Caitlin are really getting along well since they're both helping out in the kitchen now.
Because I wanted to look authentic next to my 8th note cupcakes.
Connie, I need you to turn around and go finish that cupcake because that little squiggle of frosting is not enough. We're not done here. I don't know what kind of jobs Connie Catering was doing before this, but it seems like it was a lot of classroom birthday parties, maybe? Shane Gray, meanwhile, is still trying to find the mysterious girl that he heard singing when Demi was singing back at the beginning of the movie. He really wants this to be the person who wins Final Jam. So he sets out on an adventure to figure it all out.
You wanna do me a favor? Sure.
Who are you whispering to? You're alone in a room. Why are you keeping it a secret from the camera? But that's when we go into a montage of the game of telephone that sets out across the campus. This is sort of like the Cinderella, Prince is looking for the owner of the glass slipper moment. Everyone wants to be the one who Shane picks, so they're all trying to impress them with their vocals. And in order to shoot the scene where the kids are spreading the news, all they had was like half a dozen instruments and some different kids in a grassy area. So they just did it this way. Everyone run up, tell a secret while you're holding an instrument. All these kids are like, what's that? The prince is giving a ball? Pretend this is a trumpet. There's this montage of people who are clearly not Mitchie singing the song to Shane to try to convince him, including this trio of really talented vocalists. In fact, talent like this is what should have been featured much more throughout the movie to really sell that these kids are stars. Shane is like, no, the girl I heard was definitely one person, and I think she was white. Meanwhile, Mitchie has no idea that Shane actually heard her sing, so she's like, oh, he never heard me sing. It's no way it's me. You've been singing every time you find a piano in this piece. You don't think there's some, okay, whatever. It is a little confusing that he doesn't know that she's this singer when they hang out in canoes all the time, and they hang out with guitars. Like, wouldn't she have sung a little bit for him there? Tess Taylor continues to stay the most petty girl at Camp Rock. Like, is her full-time job just walking around lurking outside cabins for info? Because a lot of the stuff that happens in this movie, she just overhears the right thing. For example, she's clearly jealous when she sees Mitchie and Shane in the canoe, but then she overhears Mitchie saying goodbye to her mom, so the secret's out. But before that all comes to a head, the Jonas Brothers all make an appearance for the first Connect 3 performance. They give us a full-length musical number of I just wanna play my music. Look at how I play the air guitar, it's really messed up. Carpal tunnel guitar singing. Right off the bat with this interrogation, we know Tess is up to no good.
Tell us about your mom again. Her mom is a great person. What's your mom like?
She died giving birth to me. Thanks, Caitlin. Tess continues to drag and expose Mitchie for her whole life, and it's almost the most drawn out part of this whole movie.
She's not president of Hot Tunes TV China.
So she's what? A vice president? Treasurer? Tess.
She's a cook.
Cook? At Hot Tunes China.
No, Tess, what aren't you getting here? She feeds you your stupid pasta every night. Naturally, this revelation makes a lot of people upset with Mitchie, including Shane, who is like, you're just like everybody else who only wanted to use me for my free stuff and the music. Even though it's like, if she wanted to use you, wouldn't she have done it in a better way? Like, all you've done is go on platonic boat rides together. When Shane is talking to his Uncle Brown, he's like, I gotta find the girl who was singing these lyrics. And Tess, again, is just around the corner overhearing things like, why are you that Kim Kardashian meme of someone spying? You know full well that you should be working on tightening up those dance moves so you don't look like such a wacky inflatable arm man, but instead you're doing all this musical espionage around the camp. Gosh, go roast a marshmallow, jeez. Also, they just had this big falling out. I don't know why Mitchie is still sleeping in the cabin as all of those popular girls, because it just puts her at risk for this type of sabotage.
Mitchie, you are so never going to see Final Jam.
Something bad is coming up because basically Tess figured out that Mitchie is the girl that Shane's looking for, and then she looks at that charm bracelet she mentioned earlier. We get a little bit of time establishing that Mitchie is the outcast of the camp right now because she lied about who she is.
What a joke.
What a joke. That was her. Also, Mitchie straight up can't escape paying for her actions. Even when she's sitting in this dumb music class, she gets a full-on eye contact scolding.
So Final Jam is coming up, and I know you're all very excited. So here's some advice. It's not all about your image. None of it means anything unless people see who you really are.
Shane really just said, I hope we're all excited for this fun new event. Now back to this bitch who had a lot to say about me in the press the other day. Gosh, you just have to lie about yourself a little bit and you're a social pariah. The closeted gay kid at Camp Rock is like, there's nothing I love more than a scene where a bully gets told the F off. And we really feel that here with Mitchie coming into her own even further.
The chicken was kind of dry. Could you tell your mom to be just a little more careful?
Tess, stop talking to me like that.
Yeah, Tess, shut the up. We have a montage where everyone's getting ready for the final jam, and this kid who plays the drums has been able to play the drums on everything except a drum set. Can we maybe empty out that drum set fruit bowl from breakfast and let him play on the actual music instrument? Actually, I guess he seems happy there. Not as happy as the girl who's rolling up those gels or that one who's twisting that knob. Ahoo! Ahee! A music time! I love the other low budget ways that they try to sell this getting ready for the big show montage, like this shot here. Can you two girls drag this duffel bag full of JCPenney scarves out to the lake and then try them on for a few hours? Thanks. The camp is fully trying to get rid of Mitchie and Caitlin. They're like, can you just practice on that dock floating in the middle of the ocean? Great. In this scene, the director was like, you guys can improvise here. Have a little fun with it. It'll make it seem really real.
I don't know why this is so bad.
I don't think you're doing that right. Wait, don't get it in my macaroni.
Don't get it in my macaroni is my favorite line from Camp Rock. I don't know why. I just love it.
Don't get it in my macaroni.
Why? What happens then? I also like picturing someone from the props department filling up a pot with macaroni and cheese and then giving Demi that spoon and being like, just stir it. She's like, okay. No gloves, no hairnets, feeding this to 100 kids, hepatitis A for everyone. Tess and Brown come in and accuse the girls of stealing her charm bracelet. And the girls are like, you can check anywhere. We didn't touch that piece of crap bracelet that would turn my wrist green anyway. That's what I would say. But Tess knows what she's doing here and she's like, well, what's that there? Tess planted that stolen property. She was like, see, those girls did steal my bracelet, and then they put it between their two books that they keep in the kitchen, right in front of everyone. What? But they have no proof that they didn't take it, so Brown has no choice but to exclude them from all camp activities. That means they can't perform in the final jam.
Until the end of Final Jam.
Remember that wording, okay? It's a secret. Oh, did you want some more horribly timed comedy from the Jonas Brothers? Sure, I can give you that.
Group hug! Much better. It hasn't been the same just hugging Nate.
Yeah, it hasn't been. So,
you can almost hear the script page turning in between some of these lines, can't you? Yeah, it has been. Pause for laughter. So, not the most natural performance from any of these young men, I'll be honest. Tess pisses off her friends for the last time and they both quit her number. They're like, we're not doing this anymore. And somehow instantly find new musical numbers to be a part of that were fully rehearsed. Ella, for example, joins this number for Hasta La Vista, which features a large group of dancers, some of whom are wearing a pillowcase. They told that girl, we ran out of cool hip-hop clothes, so we're gonna put you in this Egyptian slave costume from Party City. But, like I said, once they have this big stage to work with, it feels like the choreography gets a little more advanced and a little more engaging. Plus, this has a strong chorus, this song. H-A-S-T-A, La Vista. What does that mean in Spanish? Nothing. When it's Tess's turn to perform her pop number, you can get a little glimpse of her personality. There's lots of mirrors around her and she's gonna do something about how fabulous she is. But her mom is in the audience and we get a deeper insight into how troubled Tess's life really is. It's not so perfect being her. Surely they could have made her misstep a little more obvious. Like, can't we have her actually fall on the ground? She basically just took one step forward and everyone was like, stop the world! But there you have it. Tess's mom ruined the performance by being a famous stuck-up diva. The look of concern from the audience is far too much. There's one woman who almost gets out of her seat. She's like, that poor girl! She's walking down the stairs! Tess runs off the stage in a really emotional moment where she's making the face of crying, but not the tears of crying. The driest eye wipe ever. You hear her go, can we get some eye drops for Tess? Thanks, everyone. The final jam is just about to end after these two performances, but then we have a surprise addition in the form of Margaret, and everyone's like, who's Margaret? And then the downtrodden friend is like, I'm Margaret. And she steps out to play her emotional song about being herself and not letting anyone tell her what to do. And this is also basically lifted right from the movie Camp, where there's a character whose jaw is wired shut for the whole movie because her parents don't let her be herself. They want her to lose weight. And she gives this incredible performance at the end as a surprise to her parents where she unwires her jaw and sings beautifully, and it's really emotional, and you can tell that this is what Camp was trying to give Margaret here, down to the casting, but they didn't do enough to establish that Margaret was looked down upon. Tess was a little demanding throughout the time, but they didn't really sell like, you can't sing.
Peggy, could you please stop that? I can't hear.
They could have really hammered that home more, but because they didn't, they have to kind of explain that that's what this song is about through flashbacks. Really? That's the slow motion shot you wanted to cut to for that flashback? Looks a little constipated, but okay, it's your emotional number. This is your song, girl. But after she sings, even Tess is like, you did really good. I didn't know you were that good. Well, did you ever ask, girl? We've been going to this camp for 3 summers. You never once let me sing? Fake friend. Boo! Just as he's about to close up and let the judges tell us who the winner is, we hear some feedback on the mic, and Brown is like, I'll be right back. And then we have Mitchie and Caitlin waiting off stage.
It's the end of Final Jam.
I was so hoping you'd catch on.
That line he gave earlier was a loophole. He was saying you can perform after Final Jam is over, which is like, what does he get out of making that so cryptic? Couldn't he just say, you're gonna perform, but you're not gonna be allowed to win? But then we go into, this is real, this is me. This is legit the best song in the movie as far as I'm concerned, and I have lots of favorite parts in it, so I'm gonna take you through each of them. My favorite part in the chorus is actually another moment where we bring in backup vocals that don't quite make sense, but I just love the sound of it, so here we are.
It's a dream about a life where you're the shining star.
That was cool. Once Shane realizes this is the girl who's been singing, he jumps on stage and starts to perform his lyrics that he added to this song, which if it were me, I'd be like, this is actually a solo number, Shane, thanks, you can stay there. But when it's a duet is when Demi really gets to take off with her vocal performance. I wish they would have left the levels up on this riff she does, but they just kind of make it a background touch, but you can hear it, ready?
Me, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. Shine on me. Now I found who I am.
Did you guys hear that? She goes, shine on me. Something like that, and it's in the background, and I'm just like, yes, sing it. So emotional, and I'm like, this girl was 15 when she did this. I am standing. They do let us hear the full volume of one of those riffs here. This is me, yeah, yeah. See, it's hard to do because she has a lot of vocal control. And I remember even at the time seeing this in 2009 being like, okay, Disney, you got yourselves a real one. This girl can sing so well. It's scary to think that they first offered this role to Selena Gomez because she was killing it in Wizards of Waverly Place at the time. Selena actually said no because she wasn't ready to start her music career with Disney at that time. That would take a few more years. She just wanted to focus on acting. And frankly, I'm grateful for that, how it worked out, because I think Demi's a little bit of a stronger singer than Selena, and we wouldn't have gotten the originality to this role, I don't think, with Selena. It just would have been a little different. This is me, yeah, yeah. Did that sound like her? Give me a thumbs up if that sounded like her. I'm convinced I'm part Demi Lovato. We get a little bit of a redemption of our bully character from the movie, and I just love the looks on Mitchie and Caitlin's face after Tess apologizes to them.
See you next summer. Sure.
This girl is flip-flopping all over the place this summer. We don't know what to think. The final official number of Final Jam is another one for the books. It's so good. I love this song, and the dancing is fun too in this number.
Raise your hands up in the air and
I just want to be one of those kids holding a glow stick in the audience. They're like, put your hands up to the air and scream. These are the type of big choral musical numbers that we get more of in the sequel. Let me know if I should cover the sequel in another video. But that's actually not the final number of the whole movie. And I didn't know this. Like, when the credits roll after that, that's when I would normally stop watching. But this time around, I realized there's a post-credit scene where the girls of Camp Rock are singing a song sometime over the school year. So it's like a bonus track. It also features some of the most puzzling danceography I've ever seen in the world. That was like a rock star version of pointing at your watch when you sing time. I don't know why Demi is doing this Paramore style thing with her hair where she's like feeling it in front of her face. Meanwhile, Caitlin's over there not knowing what to do with her hand. She's like, shampoo commercial, do the hustle. This movie just makes me so happy and I'm so glad we got to go through it together. What do you guys think of Camp Rock? Were you ready for all of the musical performances? Also, do you feel what I feel about them copying parts from Camp? And just generally, tell me what you think about it. Also, let me know what movies I should cover next in future clip breakdowns. I feel like I want to do Final Jam, Camp Rock 2, but I'll do some other stuff in between, so let me know. But give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more DCOM clip breakdowns just like this one. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for checking things out with me today. I will see you next time.